Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaaya Te Namaha. Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vācālam pangam nangāyate yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dīnanayanam. So continuing with text 16 now. Usane karsayama surya prajapatya Vyuha rashmin samoha Tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam Tatte pashyami yosavaso purusha suhamasmi. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. The sun is one, but the molecules of sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays co-jointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god, and similarly, within the supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, from which the Brahmajyoti effulgence is emanating, the Lord enjoys His eternal pastimes, as verified in Brahma Samhita 529. Chintamani prakarasatmasu kalpavrikshaha Lakshapratesha surabhira vipadayantam Lakshmi sahasra sadasam brahmase vimanam Govindamati purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desires in abodes filled with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of wish-fulfilling trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or goddess of fortune. The Brahmajyoti is described in Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from that supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Just as the sun's rays emanate from the sun's glow, until one surpasses the glare of Brahmajyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. The impersonalist philosophers, blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahmajyoti, can realize neither the factual abode of the Lord nor His transcendental form. Limited by their poor fund of knowledge, such impersonalist thinkers cannot understand the all-blissful transcendental form of Lord Krishna. In his prayer, therefore, Sri Isopanisad petitions the Lord to remove the effulgent rays of the Brahmajyoti so that the pure devotee can see his all blissful transcendental form. By realizing the impersonal Brahmajyoti, one experiences the auspiciousness aspect of the Supreme. And by realizing the Paramatma, or the all-pervading feature of the Supreme, one experiences an even more auspicious enlightenment. But by meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Since He is addressed as the primeval philosopher and maintainer and well-wisher of the universe, the Supreme Truth cannot be impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Isopanisad. The word Pushan, maintainer, is especially significant. For although the Lord maintains all beings, He specifically maintains His devotees. After surpassing the impersonal Brahmajyoti and seeing the personal aspect of the Lord and His most auspicious eternal form, the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full. In his Bhagavad Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami states, the complete conception of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because He is Almighty and possesses full transcendental potencies. The full potency of the absolute truth is not realized in the Brahmajyoti. Therefore, Brahman realization is only partial realization of the personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagavan, Her, has two meanings. The first is one who fully maintains, and the second is guardian. The second syllable Ga means guide, leader, or creator. The syllable Van indicates that every being lives in him, and he also lives in every being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a tinge of material inebriety. The Lord fully maintains His unalloyed devotees, and He guides them progressively on the path towards devotional perfection. As a leader of His devotees, He ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving Himself to them. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by His causeless mercy. Thus the Lord helps His devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Being the creator, He can bestow all necessary qualifications upon the devotees so that they can ultimately reach Him. The Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused Him, He is the original cause. Consequently, He enjoys His own self by manifesting His own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by Him, for He expands Himself in the Purushas, and it is in these forms that He maintains the features of the material manifestation. By such expansions, He creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestation. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self. And because some of them desire to be Lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, He allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over material nature. Because of the presence of His parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature. But the ultimate controller is the Lord Himself in His plenary feature as Paramatma, the Supersoul, who is one of the Purushas. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity, Atma, and the controlling Lord, Paramatma, the soul and the Supersoul. Paramatma is the controller and Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being. The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti, the living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, He is the origin of all the living entities and all else that exists. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to Him in heart and soul, and whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, there is no engagement but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect as pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of perfect devotees. The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus out of His special favor He dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this, because they more or less depend on their own strength. As stated in the Katha Upanishad, the Lord can be known only by those whom He favors and not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon His pure devotees only. Shri Isopanisad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahmajyoti. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. The sun is one, but the molecules of its sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. devotee is that the epitome of a devotee is Srila Parikshit Maharaj. A devotee should be like a seeker. We see Parikshit Maharaj draw his life seeking for Krishna. Even the news of a short span of life was taken by him to be a signal to go closer to Krishna. Otherwise, he was not disturbed. A seeker of Krishna's grace. And therefore, even at the fag end of his life, Srila Parikshit Maharaj was completely focused on hearing about Krishna. And not just superficially. But relishing, he did not want to lose even one drop of the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, of the nectar of Krishna's glories. Every episode, every twist, Parikshit Maharaj wanted to dive deeply into. And that's what is Bhagavatam all about. That is the devotee. That's how Bhakta should be. Srila Sukadeva Goswami when he is describing about pastimes of Krishna, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is describing dynasties after dynasties. And many times the entire chapter, one is just hearing about names of kings actually. And one is wondering what it is. What do these names have to give and take with our lives actually? But Sukadeva Maharaj is in great ecstasy actually. Because he is describing about Krishna's entourage and Krishna's pastimes and everything which is associated with Krishna. He is in great ecstasy. So Sukadev Maharaj is going into great details about kings, their wives, their sons, their daughters. Seemingly it's difficult to understand the spiritual content unless the pastime of that particular king and how is a devotee and the manifestation of his devotional service is explained. But then even those who are not pure devotees, Sukadev Maharaj is still speaking very minute details about them actually. Because Sukadev Maharaj is able to see the connection with Krishna actually. It is Krishna's entourage. So each and every member in Krishna's entourage is very special. And therefore he as a sannyasi is talking about so many family dynasties. He is going in great details. He is relating with the family of Krishna. The family of Krishna and his servants. And so Sukadev Maharaj, by his remembrance, by his narration, he is reuniting with that whole family actually. And he is not only reuniting with that family, he is presenting that whole family to Parikshit Maharaj. This is called as a seeker. Because a seeker is a person who does not leave any stone unturned. Who does not leave any avenue unexplored. And that's what Sukadev Maharaj is doing actually. So a devotee has to be a seeker in this way. There is no point in simply floating, or there is no point in simply fluffing your knowledge. One has to be a seeker. And Vidurji is a great seeker. And Vidurji has not started his travel he's not started his travel to Vrindavan, but he's already reached Vrindavan. And he is meditating on what is Krishna doing. And he has reached Vrindavan and he's seeing Krishna's footsteps and he's in ecstasy. And he's rolling in the dust. That is a seeker. He is tracing Krishna's footsteps into his heart. And Vidurji is meditating on everything actually. What is the time, light and sound effects, the light of the twilight, the sound of the cows, the smile on Krishna Balaram's face, and what Krishna and Balaram are going to speak. So here Kamsa is giving him instructions to go to Vrindavan and get Krishna. Convince him and get him. Marketing strategy. But Vidurji is not much focused. The moment Vidurji hears Krishna, Akrurji, yes, Akrurji. The moment Akrurji is seeing, heard Krishna, he is not focusing on Kamsa's instructions. His focus has changed completely. This is a seeker. You cannot stop him. Nobody can stop him. Nobody can stop him. And Kunti Devi is a great seeker. Because she is not seeing anything else other than Krishna. So she is evaluating every situation whether Krishna is near or not. That is her matrix of what is good and what is bad. And therefore she is saying, let there be calamities. So Kunti Devi is a great seeker actually. Her evaluation matrix actually. So amazing actually. So in every situation she sees with Krishna and she is not related. So a devotee as a seeker, he doesn't relate with anything else. He uses the situation, the surroundings, the presets, the facts, the figures, the analytics to relate with Krishna, to seek Krishna. And once he says that, and once he has sought Krishna, then nothing else is just to be sought. There's nothing else to be achieved actually. So Kunti Devi is a great seeker. None of them are simply concerned about simply floating. The great seeker. They're not simply satisfied floating. So many times in devotee circle, some devotees simply take pleasure in floating. The Brahmajyoti float. Like that. So what is this floating? Some devotees, they are simply satisfied. I am also a devotee. Hare Krishna devotee, you know. and simply floating like that. So floating means it's going on. Some wave comes this way, some wave comes that way. It's going on, like that. Floating. So one should not be just satisfied floating, that yes, I am a devotee now, I am an initiated devotee, I am a 16-rounder devotee, I am, I am in ISKCON, These are all simply floating situations. So simply in floating, where will we land? We will not land in a tangible destination actually. What is the point in simply floating? Or sometimes in the morning program, we are simply floating. Okay, Mangalati started. Okay, Mangalati ended. Okay, Simarti ended. Okay, Tulsi Arti ended. Everything is done now. It's simply floating. Okay, one round, second round, third round. It's simply floating. 16th over, done with it. It's simply floating. Okay, I could sail through. Sail through. This is Brahma Jyoti actually. It's simply floating in Brahma Jyoti. Again. That way. Where is the personal reciprocation? That is the point actually. So similarly, sometimes devotees, they take pleasure in saying that yes, I have read Prabhupada books, all small books, Bhagavatam fully over first canto to 12th canto, done, finished. CC fully over Adi to Anta. So by the end of Anta Lila, it is the Anta of reading, Is it not? Like that. So it says, padha hai Bhagavatam. Yes, pura padha. That is, so just saying red means floating. Just saying red means floating. Where is the Bhagavatam coming out alive? Oozing out like that. You see, when Krishna entered the heart of Vasudeva, Vasudeva was as effulgent as sun. As effulgent as sun. Like that. You cannot hide it. And then Krishna transferred from the heart of Vasudeva to the heart of Devaki. And the Acharyas explained, this is not seminal transfer. Vasudeva gave initiation to Devaki. And like that Krishna entered through sound. So Devaki was as brilliant as never before. And when Kamsa saw her, he got a shock. And he understood. The Supreme Personality. I have never seen Devaki so brilliant and so effulgent and so beautiful as now. I used to stay with Devaki. Kamsa. So when Krishna enters, it oozes out actually, Is it not? It oozes out actually. That is the point. So one who has read, it oozes out. Like that. Similarly, one can float in the status called as I am 16 rounder. And therefore, Satsuru Maharaj explains the chanting actually begins at 17th round. 16 तो ठीक है ना, तो कोई बच्चा भी करता है. उसके बाद क्या किया? What is the heart? So you see, this is the difference, Brahma Jyoti and the Bhagavan feature of the Lord actually. So now why are you discussing this? Because you see, this is the point that actually one should not simply float around. One should not simply float around actually, but one should actually go deeper to seek for Krishna. Be a seeker for Krishna actually. Or sometimes a devotee may simply float around in Shiva, because all is Shiva, everything is set, like that, not like a big Lala is just sitting and everything is working, And the person is thinking, yes, Swabhava ki jnana balam kriya cha, everything is working very nicely, that way. And he's simply floating in that. So where is that personal struggle for Krishna? Srila Madhavendra Puri personally struggled to come all the way from Vrindavan. He could have sent 1,000 disciples to do this. So that's the difference. We are trying to understand what does personal reciprocation mean? What does it mean to personally reciprocate to the Supreme Lord? When these devotees are praying that, oh Lord, remove the effulgence, we simply don't want to float. They're relating with the Lord personally. And it means one needs to be a seeker. And you see, the Brajavasis are great seekers. Because they see the footsteps of Krishna and they start chanting the pastimes of Krishna. And they see a tree and then they remember the pastime of Krishna climbing the tree, sitting under the tree, playing the flute, and they are completely absorbed in that. So they are great seekers actually. Because every situation they are relating with the Supreme Lord. And they are churning butter and they are telling about Krishna's pastimes of butter. The Brajavasis are great seekers. And the Gopis are great seekers. That's what Lord Chaitanya had also exhibited. And Lord Chaitanya would see the ocean and Lord Chaitanya would dive into it saying Yamuna. And Lord Chaitanya saw Chatak Parvat and he was running into it saying Govardhan, Govardhan. He's a great seeker. Actually. So, the principle is, the point is this actually, that when one is in the spiritual world, then one can reciprocate directly with Krishna in love. But when one is conditioned in the material world, that personal reciprocation, how is it possible then? So then personal reciprocation takes the form of when personal reciprocation is not present in the manifest state, how does one personally reciprocate with Krishna? So that's why that same experience of personal reciprocation can be realized if one becomes a seeker. That is the point actually. If one becomes a seeker. So then one is actually reciprocating with the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is guaranteeing that he accepts this surge of the devotee like that. So the surge of love will come later. The surge of love starts with the surge of purification. The surge of protection, the surge of shelter. And the same feeling grows to become the surge of love actually. So in terms of opportunities actually, we have nothing less actually. Because even though Krishna is not manifest directly, but Krishna is accepting each and every move of our action. Everything is personal. Therefore, one should not see anything in a floating spirit. Like that. One should see everything in a personal spirit. And here, this is my personal offering. This is my personal offering to Srila Prabhupada. This is my personal offering. That's the meaning of being a seeker. Similarly, one should not be just satisfied with knowledge. Sometimes our devotees are just satisfied with knowledge. So they read, they hear, and they gather a lot of knowledge. And anybody comes near, they shower that knowledge upon him. ठीक है, तुमको भी ज्ञान देते हैं, ज्ञान. And they are satisfied with reading, hearing, and simply speaking to everyone what they read and heard, like that. So anybody comes, big philosophy, download, is it not? Like that. So this is actually, this is the point actually. But then what happens is that if things do not, if one is simply this kind of attitude actually, then what happens is that slowly that philosophy, actually philosophy is like a stone, just like in the ocean. The Vanasena was not able to cross through. So then they got stones. And the stones are floating, it had written Ram. And they were putting the stones, and because they were putting the stones, they got a landing and they could march forward. So similarly, philosophy This material world is the ocean of misery. So now when there is an ocean of misery, then we are miserable actually, and we are drowning, and we are drowning miserable like that. So what is the solution? The solution is you take the rock boulder of philosophy, and you say Jai Shri Ram, and you throw it. And because there is this the heart of the devotee to surrender to Krishna, that rock will float and it gives land. And you can march forward. Yes? That's the point actually. So that's philosophy. And now the point is that, so the purpose of philosophy is to create land in water. Actually. That's what is the point actually. The purpose of philosophy is to create land in water actually. And one can march through actually. And one can walk forward actually. That way. Very amazing philosophy. But you see, the point is that if this philosophy is not invested to improve, to accelerate, to protect our surrender, our activities of offering to Krishna, then this philosophy may start getting used to justify sense gratification. Just like that actually. If the stone was offered in the ocean, it became a bridge actually, but if the stone is thrown on somebody else, it can break his head. No? Like that. No? Yeah? So the philosophy is like that. No? And actually, one can justify anything and everything.
One example, how sometimes people becomes to justify ourselves.
Oh, one example. So, many examples we can, like that. With philosophy, one can justify actually any sense gratification. Like, say, for example, somebody is an authority, like that. And now he may be giving, say, for example, now he is, shouting, yelling, at his subordinates, like that. And he will say, what are you doing, So he can say, no. They need to be surrendered, So they need to be surrendered, that way. So now the question comes is that whether he is shouting, yelling at them out of a concern to help them serve Krishna, or he is shouting, yelling at them because he is irritated and not able to control his Onsa Vegam? Vacho Vegam. Krodha Vegam. Yes, he is not able to control his anger, You got the point, So you can justify philosophy, like, say for example, say one is thinking that, okay, so say for example you're getting funding, funds, like that. Then one can say, anyways, you're serving so much, what is wrong if I have a car, what is wrong if I have an AC, what is wrong if I have a single room, so AC furnished and all that. You can justify, after all I'm doing so much service to Krishna. Like that.
So that example of the demigods were convincing the Muni to give up his body just so that demigods can return their kingdom.
Yeah, so that's
so that he is justifying that why he should give up.
So then they were giving philosophy actually, They were not considering the other person, they were giving philosophy. So like this, philosophy, there are people actually who feel that, like one philosophy says, okay, we are son of God, so we should enjoy also, Like God, we should live in opulence, And because, we are Krishna's servants, like that. Krishna is, Jagadish, Jagannath. He is Jagannath, but, that's fine. But then, you see, that's the point, Or you say, okay, God accepts Chapan Bhog, so we should also, Like that. So one can justify anything.
Because we haven't sufficient realization of that philosophy.
We are not applying that philosophy. That's the point. Actually. So philosophy needs to be applied. Philosophy should not just remain like that. Otherwise it will simply remain in the head and give headache. Is it not? That is the point actually. So philosophy needs to be applied, is it not? Otherwise it gives headache actually. So this way we can understand that one should not simply remain floating in Brahman, just coasting along, or simply, taking knowledge and sometimes throwing at others. Sometimes you can use philosophy to criticize others actually, because you're so philosophical, then you can find any fault, and you can philosophize it, is it not? That's what these fellows with tricks are doing, They're philosophizing it. Like that. Very dangerous. They're misusing philosophy for critics. Actually, philosophy, is like a stone. You need to write Ram on it and offer it to the ocean. Is it not? That means that philosophy has to be, used to focus our activities like that. Dry philosophy will create problem. So that's why we are saying that Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan realization actually. That Bhagavan realization is a devotee's hankering for it. Like that. So that's why one has to be a seeker, like that. So you get a stone, don't hold the stone. It will be difficult to hold it, Don't throw it on the other person, His head will break, You better offer it to the ocean, And you can see the land has come and then you walk further. Is it? That's the point actually, which is being spoken here. That this devotee is wanting to see the beautiful face of the Lord, actually. That's the point.
Who is the devotee? Who is the devotee?
This is a representative devotee. Isopanisad is revealing how should a devotee pray to Krishna, like that.
Class?
Huh?
Class
Vyasadeva is fine, but Vyasadeva actually wrote the scriptures with all his big team actually, So that way yes, Vyasadeva, but then the point is that everything is written by Vyasadeva, but then he is writing what we should think, like that, So he is giving a class, that okay, this class of people, they can benefit in this. Is it? That's the point. So we'll stop here. Shri Isopanisad ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, so we'll continue again next week. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. So therefore one should be a seeker in life, not simply keep floating or keep using the rock boulder of knowledge and keep throwing at each other. You are wrong,